Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Polaiah, working as a professor in the Department of CSE Data Science. So today I'm going to be provided one of the best lecture. That is the one of covers the module 1 second topic. So where the topic we are going to be discussed from module 1, that is we called as components of an image processing system. So this components of an image processing system is basically we are going to be defined based on the requirements of designing or development of digital image processing, or we also called as that one digital image system. So here digital imaging system or digital imaging process or digital image processing is how we may be differentiate that different names is completely depends upon the topic which we are discussing right now. That is components of an image processing system. So this topic now we are going to be discuss with a particular agenda. That means the topic 1 is we have to understand why this topic has been introduced as one of the topic in our module 1 syllabus. So as per syllabus, we have to understand the module 1 of the topic components of an image processing system. So we need such a little bit introduction about it. So that's what I've been mentioning here. The first agenda is topic introduction. The second one is course outcomes mapped with module 1. And the third one is, as usual, we are going to be understand the components of an image processing system is how, when we can prepare, when we are going to understand the components. So that detailed discussion we are going to discuss right now. Once we have such a wider discussion, immediately we may be having such a little bit of doubt that maybe how this type of concept may be applicable towards to which areas. So that also once we covered this topic, immediately we are going to be understand that means we are going to be connected to the applications. So that's what I said here, the application of image processing related to the image processing system, which depends upon different components, how we may be define different applications also we are going to be discuss right now. So once we have gone through this slide, immediately we had to understand as per our IARE standard, this topic which we are going to be mapped for 100% towards to connect it to the course outcomes. So that means the topic covered here is components of an image processing system. From there, we are going to be gain the knowledge regarding the concept of digital image processing only. So that means we are going to be understand this completely concept, how we are going to be achieve as one of the course outcome, in terms of summarize the concepts of fields of digital imaging system only. So such a digital imaging system which we are going to be achieve based on the preparation of digital image processing system by using components of the image processing only. So we are going to be understand what are the components of an image processing systems we are going to be use. So you see here, especially I wanted to show you one by another which we are going to be used towards to develop one of the digital image processing system. So what are the components we may be basically going to be used? As you all of you know, we'll start to understand from bottom to up. Bottom to up. So what is the bottom to up here? So that means the component number 1 is image sensors. That is number 1. Once this image sensors is right now we are going to be defined in detail based on the design of the image processing which we are concentrating depends upon the different applications of the problem solution only. That means this digital image processing is morely suitable towards to provide the industrial problem solutions. That's what we are going to be take considered problem domain as input to the your one of the component named as image sensors. I'm not defining here what does it mean image sensor, but we are going to be understand this digital image sensors later on. Okay. Next, go to be understand the immediately we are going to be understand the second one is specialized image processing hardware. So in this specialized image processing hardware, we are going to be connected indirectly. Number one is hardware part, and the second part is image processing system. So that means this image processing software tools also need to be connected to the your processing image processing hardware. That means, so simply here that image processing, that is nothing but digital image processing, is the combination of hardware as well as software. So both will be connected together. But here we are going to be defined that hardware as well as software depends upon the your problem domain only. We are not be universally keeping that hardware components perfectly are fixed, but we are going to be fix that depends upon the problem domain only. That means requirement. So depends upon the application. That means depends upon the application point of view. We are going to be define these hardware components, and as well as software tools also we are going to be defined. So if digital image processing software tools are being available nowadays towards to get the different solution for different applications, for different problems solutions they may be prepared at present. So it is not fixed now and then. It's going on developed such a digital image processing software tools, especially where we can understand some of the software tools which we are going to detail in detail discussion later on. Okay, so that means we are going to consider hard copy is one of the component of digital image processing system. That means being it is a system, once we consider the image processing system as a system, that system we want to develop, so 100% depends upon different components only. So among those components, one of the component is hard copy. That means hardware components which we have to be used. And similarly, we are going to be combined. We are going to be embedded with the software tools. Only. So when we are going to be combined together, then we are going to be keep on the image processing hardware. So once we are specialized image processing hardware, that means why we call it as specialized image processing hardware, because it is specialized for particular problem solution only. So like that, we are going to be define different applications of the image hardware system, image processing hardware system. Okay, so later we'll discuss in detail. That means the next another slides will help us to discuss one of the component of in image processing system. Consider as how we consider as image processing hardware. Next, coming to the immediately once we had this, immediately we are going to we need a certain processor, so that we consider as a computer. So computer is nothing but right now one of the unit in the image processing system. So in this image processing system, computer unit play vital role for processing for your requirement of the solution only. So the computer means simply it may be says that taking information, process and provide the your desired output. So that means that desired input information may provide as it is desired output. In the sense, your computer process has to be work like a linear system only. So that means your 100% had to be understand here your computer unit as one of the component which we are going to be used under the image processing system only. once we are connected this computer unit now to the specialized image processing hardware processor, that means that processor of information need to be displayed. That processor of information need to be displayed. How it can be displayed? So as you know, one of the component which we are going to be use image displays only. So that means image displays is the one of the monitor. So we are going to discuss in detail as one of the component in our image processing system. Image display is also a component. Next, coming to the another type of component, which is right now when we consider the computer unit as another component which is going to be process your completely solution of the problem in this aspect of specialized image processing system hardware which we developing 100% depends upon another component which is more and important component is called as mass storage of the component. Mass storage. Okay. So this mass storage component which we are going to be understand here is what are your processing, what are your processing and display. So need maybe in terms of temporarily storage or permanently storage. As we know, being an electronic budding engineer, you can understand that storage capacity, how it can be helped to the processor. So once we understood the complete components, let us we start to discuss in detail about each and every component. So here we so far we discussed image based on the problem domain. Number one is image sensor. Number two is hard copy. Number two is that image processing hardware. Number four is software tool. Number five is computer unit. And number six is your display. And seventh one, that is mass storage. Let we'll start one by one to discuss about each and every point. Okay. So next we are going to be discuss here the complete one is here. Let we'll see here. First one is image sensors. Okay. So these image sensors which we are sensor means what does it mean sensor? Basically we maybe define sensor means collection of the information. Sensing means acquire the information. That means here your image sensors are basically worked on two elements are required to acquire the digital images. What are those? Number one is which we are going to be physically device that sensitive to the energy radiated by objective we wish to image sensor. We wish to image sensors. Okay. Number two is the second one. That is second one. As a second part of the your image sensor is digitizer. So when we can call the image sensor as digitizer, is a device for converting the output of the physical sensing device information into digital formation. So the last class where we discussed about an image and the digital image difference. So that means the conversion, how it may happen, the imaging data as we consider information should convert it into digital form in the sense. So it may happen in the image sensors itself. So try to understand here, image sensor basically work as a two elements process. So what are those two element process? Is in terms of image sensor is one part and second part is digitization process. So image sensing process means acquiring the imaging data. That is we simply says collection of information. So that collection of information which we are basically connected here is, so basically we are going to be connected here is, so depending upon that input information which we are going to be understand here. Okay. So now next let we see the another component, that is the detailed components which is here specialized image processing hardware. So that what I said here. So when we consider this specialized hardware processing hardware means we are going to be perform other primitive operations. What are the operations we are going to use here towards to process your specialized image processing hardware processing, so it depends upon the different operations. So what are the operations which we may going to understand even as per our syllabus? We are going to discuss in detail later on. First of all, we have to understand here under the specialized image processing hardware, we are using one of the operation processes ALU. That means the full form of ALU is arithmetic logic unit. Arithmetic logic unit, which performs arithmetic and logic operation in parallel on entire images data. On entire image data. So we have to understand here what will be the arithmetic operation, what will be the your logical operations. So we are going to be internally connected to the arithmetic as well as logical operations. As we all of you know very well, because we are studying right now as 5th semester means, we understood the basic information about ALU, arithmetic logical unit. Because in our hardware processing system, which we are going to be concentrated to develop, digital image processing system means 100% obviously ALU operation will be there. So such a arithmetic, such a component, such a computational process unit is needed. So that unit is completely processing arithmetic as well as logic in parallel. So when we consider that, so this image processing hardware system process sometimes may going to be processed in terms of front-ended subsystem. So when we call the front-ended system means the type of hardware sometimes front-ended system process only. Why? Because here we are going to be develop obviously the complete system not only based on the component physical component devices but also software tools. So that's what we maybe process your system indirectly. So front-ended system process only. When directly run the hardware, physical hardware devices, but indirectly connected to the front-ended system. That's what mostly we are going to be see that distinguished characteristics, speed in between that physical process and your software tools. Okay, so the distinguished characteristics is speed is a monitoring process which we can understand in terms of front-ended system only. So let us be going to be understand that fast data throughputs that the typical main computer cannot be handled here. So throughputs of the information which we are going to be understand from the performance of the such ALU operations compulsory need or compulsory that require fast data throughputs that the physical main computer which may fail to handle. Okay, so next we'll go to see that image processing software tool. I may say here tools, software tools. So software tools means simply if you go to the MATLAB software, okay, there if you type digital image processing simply, then the tool will be open. So that means a package, a software package which help us to provide 100% particular field of the tools. Okay, so when we going ahead, such a image processing consists specialized modules that perform the specific task. That's what I told you. So the task which we are specified in particular package of the software, it will be performed automatically. No doubt about it. That's what we are going to be understand here. Software tool is obviously 100% well required in terms of design packages. Also includes the capability for the user to write the code that minimum or utilization of the specialized modules. So later on we are going to discuss how this we are going to prepare the code for one another examples, one another industrial problem solution which we are going to provide. So obviously it's going to be utilize the specialized modules. Okay. So what we understand from this slide? So this slide under obviously help us one of the component description. What is the name of the component? We quickly call that component is image processing software tool. It's one of the component which help us to design image processing system. So system nothing but combination of the components. So Among that components, one of the component is used here is image processing system. Okay. Next, coming to the another when we are going to process this information, immediately we depends upon the storage capability. So storage, mass storage capability, that means bulk of data which we are wanted to store. So here, even nowadays, we are going to be processed as one of the component towards to design or develop image processing system. 100% depends upon the mass storage capability only. Why it is needed? We'll discuss later. Before understanding the this complete process of mass storage capability, then the importance also we can introduce. Okay. So now what we want to understand here is, so first point is mass storage capability is using the must and should be used in the image processing application, no doubt. If at all used, how much it may be used. Simply minimum of minimum 1024 of pixel size requires 1 megabyte of storage space. Okay, so if the image is not compressed, then the storage capacity may be increased. Compressed may decrease. So what do you want to understand here? You're here whenever you are processing the even in different types of communication systems where we can encrypt the data or decrypt the data, means your compression is also mostly useful. But point is here, that is we are going to use megabyte storage of the data which we are going to be used minimum of usages as mass storage is capability device which we have right now for the designing of image processing system. So here, once we understand such a mass storage processing device availability, then that device we are going to be categorized into digital storage for the image processing applications falls into three principal categories. Number one, three principal categories are: number one, short term storage, that is we call as during process time only, when we are going to use online, here iPhone missed, sorry. So online storage purpose, that is relatively fast recollect. And we have the third principal categorization of the your digital storage is archival storage, that is characterized by infrequent access. So when we are going to use that, three are the more useful of storage capability. That means we are going to be categorized, we are going to be divided different three different categorization of the storage process. So once you understood this, we'll see going to see the next one, that is mass storage capability. Where we discussed such a mass storage capability so far, we are going to have a little bit more discussion on this. That is where we are going to have in terms of frame buffer. That means when we can call this frame buffer, that is specialized boards which we are using for different image processing application, we called as a frame buffers that store one or more images can be accessed rapidly. Okay. Next, another is if you go to the online storage method, then there we are going to be see the completely in terms of image zooming, zoom in, zoom out, plus, minus. That means you are going to be enhance the image, or you are going to be restore the image process. That means it's 100% depends upon the online storage image process storage capability only. Next, another topic is here. The online storage is the frequent access to the stored data. Finally, the archival storage is if you want to extend much more information. That means archival storage is characterized by massive storage requirements but infrequent need for access. So that is very important to understand about mass storage capability. So next, coming to the another important component is here, that is image displays. Okay, so that means we are going to use the some TV monitors. As usual, we are all of you aware in our day-to-day life towards understanding this image processing information, which is right now artificially be processed to get certain application or to get certain problem solution, which we wanted to see how it may happen in front of you, maybe by using the some television based display units only. Not only television preferable here, even we are going to use mobiles, monitor devices and all. Okay, so that we call as the display devices used today are mainly in terms of color devices, not black and white. So pure colorful device monitoring systems only we are using. Next, coming to the here, that output of the images which we are processing in terms of graphics display cards that are integral part of your computer system. So that means obviously graphical card is used here. Mostly we are going to be used. Mostly we are going to be used here is 100% integral part of the computer system. So graphical card will be help us to not only storage of the your information. It's obviously 100% display unit supported device we call as graphical display unit. Okay, so that's what we are going to be used here. Hardware copy devices used for recording images. So here another last but not least of the important component is here is hard copy devices that is used for recording the images, including laser printers, film cameras, heat sensitive devices, insect units and digital units such as optical and CD RAM disks. So what are these are the devices? Number one is the recording images which are laser printers. Number two is film cameras. Number three is heat sensitive devices. Another one is inject units. Next one is digital units. And digital units means again we have maybe doubt, that is nothing but optical and CD-ROM disks. So these are the hardware devices which we are going to be recommended for the recording the images. So once we understood this, all the list of components which we are going to be used to define the your digital image processing. Now let me to conclude today's topic with certain applications. That means the application of digital image processing by using those different components. That means what are the components mainly we discussed are 7 components. So 7 components are you are going to use for the development of or design of your digital image processing. When you are going to be 7 components are used for designing of digital image processing is what for we are using is towards to connect one of the application, towards to connect one of the application, towards to connect to the one of the application. So these components are fixed, but usage of software tools depends upon that software hardware components which we can be modified. So that means how can we modify? What form you want to modify? In this sense, here we are obviously depends upon different applications only we are going to be modified. That is very important here. So what are the applications? If you go to the medical image processing application, then the 7 components which you are using, obviously we are going to be depends upon the digital image processing applications only. Digital image processing application. So once we understood this digital image processing application related to image processing, medical image processing, according to that your software tools also will be changes. Keep in your mind. So you should not be fix that 7 components, only one particular image application process only. Depending upon the application to application, one to another, maybe changes. So that changes is here playing vital role. That helps you towards to get much more knowledge for designing such a digital image processing system. So components may be named same, but that processing of that particular component one to another may be different. Depends upon the application. Process may be different. So that means here medical image processing is different, and the quality control system for a particular problem solution may be different. Again, if you see particular problem means, if you go to the surveillance of the system process may be different. And if you go to the law enforcement process, there we are going to be design your digital image processing system. May be different, obviously. So that difference is right now we have to exercise with this 7 component. That difference is we help us to enhance our knowledge, particularly towards to develop your digital image processing system. Obviously, everyone here learning this digital image processing is particularly, especially towards to change up your knowledge one application to the another. Especially if you go to the artistic effects, that means movie artists. They're always these 7 components are playing vital role in this artistic effects. They're preparing actually. Really, we are going to be enjoy your any movies, any audio or audio and video based images. How in this sense they're connecting together with the help of these 7 components of image processing. When connected and run the software tool, then they are going to be achieve the perfect digital image processing unit. So with this, I wanted to show you the list of references here is the prescribed textbook is number 1 only, where we are going to be use the completed discussions information. So that means the detailed information even you want to understand not only from these slides, but also you can go through the textbook 1, which I referred here. So with this, I wanted to conclude my complete topic, which we are discussed the components of image processing system, which are we discussed in detail one by another. The remaining things which we are going to be discussed later on. Okay, so where we are going to have concentrate based on this 7 components knowledge, we are going to be discuss in detail one topic to the another topic, which is provided in our module 1. So I'm really very thankful to you all for constant listening and understood of this topic. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.